From Vero Beach, Florida, it's the Money Nation Show with Ed Gardner. Good morning, listeners. We're broadcasting remotely from Albany, New York, and we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence today with the CEO of Remark Holdings, Kai-Shing Tao. Hi, Shing. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Shing, artificial intelligence, or AI, is a fast-growing area. In your opinion, what is artificial intelligence today in 2021?
I think in 21, I think most companies and I think people around the world are still trying to get their arms around it. You know, is it something that's friendly and it's going to contribute to, you know, the next 10, 20 years of growth, or is it something scary? We certainly hear both sides of it. Certainly my viewpoint is that certainly in the post-pandemic age or the years after, AI is going to be needed to help continue our companies grow around the world and to do that efficiently. You know, if there's ever a time that needs better use of AI, now's the time.
How does AI work? It's a basic question, but how does AI work for people out there that don't really understand it as much?
Yeah, you know, AI is really, you know, in my view of having the kind of recreate the human brain, and I think a big part of what makes the human brain so interesting is the perspective on things, right? Where things aren't a lot of times not so black and white, but it's a gray matter or gray issue. So the AI to me is the ability to give a machine the ability to think for itself and to be able to judge, you know, in the areas where there's potentially a gray issue. So and this could mean in a lot of different ways of how, for example, what they call computer vision, how a camera interprets what's happening and what it's seeing. It can happen in what they call these chatbots in terms of how a computer interacts with the human on the phone and what they're saying. And it could happen where, you know, where we talk about data aggregation and the ability to analyze the data and being able to do it in a very efficient way, because there is so much data in the world. How do we make sense of it? And AI really helps us to do that.
Kind of another question. What are the main goals of AI, and how does AI help businesses?
So I think it's really twofold. The first one, I think, being most important is how can you use that to grow revenue? You know, we're very strong believers in how AI can help personalized marketing, as they call curation, on when a person walks through the door, and how do we convert that potential customer into a paying customer. Online companies have the benefit of having real-time analytics, you know, when a customer visits their site and are able to adjust accordingly. Offline companies haven't had this luxury, and usually the data that they get is when the customer has already left the store, and a lot of time often delayed, you know, weeks or months later. We're providing the stores, or AI provides the stores, the ability to react real time and give them those type of analytics to adjust accordingly. So I think that's the first one, and that spans across a number of different industries, from retail to banking. And then the second part would be on how it's able to cut costs, where there's a lot of time, labor that makes things incredibly inefficient, and AI is able to handle things. Say, for example, like security. We have a lot of issues that we see with governments, you know, that for security with TSA, when people are walking through, and a lot of the times the security is done as a reactive measure rather than a proactive measure. So I think AI is able to help that and do that with do that much more efficiently, because you have less people to handle it.
What kinds of AI are being used by different businesses currently right now? Where are we seeing it? kind of businesses?
Yeah, I mean, we see it across pretty much every industry right now. It can range from the retail sector, where a department store owner is trying to understand the shopping behavior of a potential customer when they come in, understanding where they are shopping, what are they shopping for, understanding what their mood and emotional state is when they're shopping, and being able to act accordingly. It could happen in the agricultural industry, where we're trying to find ways to help nurture, livestock or crop growing in a much more efficient way, and while doing that, making sure it's done in a very safe manner. It can be done in transportation, say, for example, trains, the ability to make sure that the tracks are, well maintained and safe. The ability to make sure that the passengers that come on are safe, and to the point of even food security, making sure how the food is prepared and served is done in a safe manner. In the past, you would need human labor to watch the video feeds, and for them to do that, to interpret what's happening. That's certainly very laborious and time consuming. And with AI, we're able to do that real time, and without human error.
How is AI evolving in the United States versus other parts of the world? We know that AI is big in the other parts like Asia. How is it evolving in the
Mhm.
U.S.?
It's interesting. I think U.S. Is the leader in the world in terms of AI R&D. But the U.S. lags in other parts of the world in terms of adoption. And you're certainly seeing that in Asia, where AI is very prevalent, the use of it in all facets of life. And because of that, and because of its effectiveness, AI is part of the annual budget or technology budget for these particular companies and municipalities. In the US, it's a little bit different. I think companies and people are still trying to understand, how does AI affect us? Number one, how does AI, how does that play a part of our budget? I think we're still, I think there are a number of companies that are looking to get into it. Certainly McDonald's has gone into it. They made a big move into it. Companies like Kroger have made a big move into it. But still, the adoption is a little bit slower. But I think that will change certainly in the post-COVID era.
Tell us about how Remark is using AI and what kinds of customers and contracts are you obtaining in general?
Yeah, so I think our customer base is, because it's global, everyone has different needs, and really, as I was saying before, different companies have, are kind of different stages of their of how they want to handle AI. Certainly in Asia, they have, companies like China Mobile, which is, one of the, I think it's the largest mobile company in the world, three times the size of AT&T and Verizon combined. They're using AI, or they're using our AI to transform their 18,000 stores into smart stores. So that's certainly something that we're very excited about, and seeing that transformation. And I think because of that success, businesses and other verticals want to replicate that. So you're seeing companies with any company with a retail presence, say for example banks that have a lot of branches that are catering to customers, are finding the use of our AI to help them better understand what their customers want when they're in the store, and really to the point when they first enter the store, how do we better serve them? Um, I think we are quite involved in the agricultural space, in helping swine farms be able to not just be operated much more efficiently, but certainly in a safer environment. In the US, I think right now, because we are still in the midst of dealing with COVID, the topic is a little bit different. It really focuses around health security, and where we, and how we play a part of it is providing the tools for health companies, to be able to implement that. So that's making sure when a person comes through a venue that they are properly scanned for any potential high fever, to the point of making sure that they're authorized to enter the building. Certainly, in the future, it's going to be whether they've been tested or whether they've been vaccinated, and where our AI is able to do that in a very seamless way, and able to do with a lots of people, a few hundred people a minute without any lag time. So we certainly think that if we're providing the experience to venues, or they want to bring that great customer experience back, our tools will be used for that.
With your doing business with China Mobile, does that open up possible same type of companies like AT&T or Verizon in the United States down the future? You think they'll do similar type of things possibly?
We think so. I think the success with kind of the foreign mobile companies have been very strong. So we certainly are very hopeful, and think that will make their retail operations operate much more efficiently. And that could be through a combination of helping them better serve their customer, or lowering the amount of people needed to man each store. And so I think we can provide both, and pretty sure that they will come.
Sounds great. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back on Money Nation.
All opinions expressed by Ed Gardner and or his guests on the Money Nation show are solely Ed Gardner's and or his guests' opinions, and do not reflect the opinions of Cutter & Company or any of their affiliates. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Ed Gardner and or guests as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only in as an expression of their opinion. Ed Gardner's and his guests' opinions are based on information he considers reliable, but neither Cutter & Company nor affiliates and or subsidies warrant its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. Always talk to your financial advisor before making such decisions.
Welcome back. Shing, there's a lot of AI companies out there. How is Remark, finding its way and progressing?
I think every day now it's certainly become the buzzword to use. Everyone has some component of AI in it. I think what sets us apart is because we've started early, we were able to build our AI platform from the ground up. We own all of our IP, and because of that, we're able to move very quickly to any particular situation. They in any new business opportunity, I think when you don't own your own IP, it takes probably several months, almost 3 to 6 months, to be able to customize that appropriately. And for us, because we're early in this and have built this platform, we're able to retrain our algorithms to any type of situation within a few weeks' time. So I think that's important. And of course, the most important is that we certainly believe that we have had our success because our platform actually works. In any proof of concept we've been, I would say we win 90% of our overall proof of concept situations. And because our products have been live and tested over the last several years. So you're looking at something that's live. We're not somebody's guinea pig or lab rat. And one of the good things about starting off in China initially is because of how many people are there. We see all kinds of situations, can adjust to it. Say, for example, when we talk about these retail stores, you have, say, for example, 1,000 people coming in through the door through a particular sales promotion. and being able to use our computer vision to accurately figure out what type of customers coming in imperfect conditions, meaning they could be wearing a mask, they could have facial hair, they could be wearing a hat or sunglasses, where it could be raining outside, the sun could be out there where it creates a glare. These are all different kinds of conditions that we've been able to create something that works very well live. I think we started this platform out about 6 to 7 years ago. The first couple of years we did nothing but kind of build our algorithms, and then we began to win a lot of the competitions, certainly as it relates to computer vision. But most importantly is, are you able to commercialize that? So it's taken us the last 2 years to do that, and now we're moving pretty fast in kind of implementing that.
The validation of the technology in can tell us a little bit about Megaface. Is a Megaface a third party that actually ranks different AIs through companies throughout the world?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different, I guess, third party validation. There's Megaface, there's NIST, there's the ECCD, ICCD competitions. But most importantly, I think, we establish ourselves by either winning or placing very high, in those competitions. I think the groups that placed ahead of us mostly were in a perfect or kind of lab environment, perfect conditions. I think what's been great for, what I'm very proud of our team is we've been able to make our products commercialized. So we've been able to prove that and have won a number of contracts with very large customers, and we expect us to grow alongside them as they continue to increase their uses. Say for example, China Mobile, we started off with working in their retail stores, and then now have expanded to doing smart communities and deployment with them. And those are, kind of what you can imagine. Smart communities are, large size communities where there are thousands of people living there, and we're trying to make that environment for them to be run much more seamlessly. So we'll continue to grow aside of them, and because of that, I think we have a tremendous opportunity ahead of us.
How about Alibaba? I've seen some things about you guys in Alibaba. Is there anything you can comment on Alibaba? What's going on with those guys?
Yeah, Alibaba is, they're I think an incredible company, and they touch, every point of somebody living in China's life, so we've been partners with them for a number of years, not exclusive, but we work with them on a number of different areas, as it relates to shopping, as it relates to loans, as it relates to health. We'll continue to do that partnership with them. I think there's no group that can do it all. I think our strength has been in our AI technology and implementation, and we'll continue to work with them for, I certainly think, for the years to come.
In the U.S., what type of companies are you working with? What sectors of the market are you working with right now, or plan on working with?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly because of COVID, the first areas where we were working with is in the hospitality area. We work with large casino / kind of resort companies, hotel companies. We work with sports teams that are looking to certainly reopen as the crowds are allowed to go back in. We are working with transportation companies, railroads. So these are all businesses that I think we'll continue to work with. So I mean, those examples I'm using are primarily for health security. We recently announced a deal with a company called Superdraft, which is a DFS, a daily fantasy sports business, in partnership with Caesars, and they'll be using our AI to help them better market their businesses. So think of it as us being able to go into companies' different player databases where they have millions of people there, but it's incredibly inefficient, to contact them, right? So using our algorithms, we're able to find players within those databases and other databases who are best suited to be kind of looked after to go into DFS or online sports betting. So our AI is being used in a number of different ways, and we'll just continue to kind of expand upon that.
In your opinion, is AI the future?
I hope so. I certainly think so. I think I think if you look at in the last 20 years, there's like massive waves, right? We go from the PC to mobile, certainly with the internet being as growing as fast as it is, going into the cloud. That's the cloud is probably the big wave from the last 10 years, and we think the next big wave is going to be in AI. We're not even, we're just starting out, and so that's the exciting point. It's obviously incredible a market, and it's only going to get bigger. We've gone through the ups and downs of sometimes your technology is a little bit earlier than when people are ready to adopt, but I think we've worked through that, and during that time, as companies have become more comfortable in the adoption of AI, our actual technology itself has only gotten stronger. So we're excited about that.
How does AI Remark compare with other AI companies in the United States? Are there many other companies doing this, and what sets you guys apart? There are other AI companies that are doing this, but I think very few companies do it as a platform. They have a point solution, and then when we go into a particular bid process, we come in as a platform solution. I do believe companies will have vendor fatigue where they don't want to handle 15 different vendors. And for us, if you are able to provide an end-to-end solution for retail, for construction safety, for agriculture, and your algorithms are the best across all the issues or pain points that they have, we are at an advantage because we have been doing this for a long time. We see a lot of companies that have approached us to maybe come under our umbrella, but a lot of times I'd say 97% of the time there's an overlap in terms of the technology, just because we've been able to do it, and we're able to provide more than just one specific facet of things. So I think that's our big advantage for us. Very fascinating, very interesting. Well, Sheng, thank you very much for being with us today, and we look forward to talking to you in the future, and wish you the best of luck.
Great. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Great. Thanks, Sheng. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Money Nation. Have a great day. We've been speaking with Kai-Shing Tao, CEO of Remark Holdings. That's REMARK Holdings, NASDAQ symbol MARK. Thanks for being with us, Shing. And I want to remind all the listeners out there, if you have any questions about your portfolio, your 401k, your IRA, any investment questions at all, you can always feel free to give me a call at 518-255-8854. Again, 518-255-8854, or you can email me at edgardner, Gardner, at cutterco.com. edgardner@cutterco.com. Thanks a lot for listening to Money Nation.